Hello, family, friends, and interested onlookers. As most of you know, I spend a lot of my time walking. Probably 4 hours a day, maybe a little more some days. It gives me a lot of time to think. And the first verse in the Bible, Genesis 1:1, many of you have heard it, many of you have read it, says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." I know in the second verse it talks about the sun and the moon, but I'm just concentrating on He created the heavens and the earth, specifically the earth. This is where we spend our time. This is where we live. And when I remember when I was in school, they taught us about the Big Bang Theory, that everything exploded and we were just part of that explosion. God doesn't talk about the explosion, He just talks about creating. He made this place. And the scientists, our teachers taught us that the earth was like a ball. I don't know if you can see this as a golf ball, but it's a ball, it's a sphere. They said it was a little wider at the equator. And now they tell us it looks more like a pear. Wider at the southern hemisphere and narrower at the top. I don't believe that the pear theory works at all, because a pear spinning, we would feel the rotation because it wouldn't be smooth spinning. But that goes without saying. Many of you will think that I'm maybe a little goofy in the head, and that's okay. But I want you to think about it just for a second. If we're on a ball or a pear-like shaped object, the only thing that keeps us on the ground, they say, is gravity. And has anybody seen how a semi-truck gets weighed? Most of them just go through one of those truck stops. Usually they are closed, but when they are open, they go through and they go, I think, 15 miles an hour, and there's scales to weigh the axles. They don't weigh the whole truck, they just weigh the axles. If we believe gravity is real, there's a separation between the wheels on each side and from front to back. So the weight that's in the middle, if the gravity is real, it would be pulling it down towards the earth. So the weight wouldn't be accurate, it would be weighing the axles, it wouldn't be weighing the total weight of the truck. You can do this also if I have some weights, and they're about 3.5 pounds each. And I weighed myself this morning, and I weighed about 150 pounds. And then I took the two weights, and I held them, and I weighed myself, and I weighed 157 pounds. Then I weighed myself again, holding the weights out away from the scale, and I still weighed 157 pounds. If gravity was really as real as they tell us it is, there would be less than 157 pounds, because some of that weight would go straight down. If you ever lifted a weight out and you held it, it's heavy. It gets harder and harder. If you watch an Olympic weightlifter, they're lifting 450, 500 pounds, whatever. That steel bar bends because of the weight. And that's weight going down. That's not gravity pulling it down. Just want you to think about that and try to believe that the world is a round ball or is the world flat? We all can make that decision on our own. But if the earth is flat, we've been lied to for a long, long time. And I believe we have been lied to for a long, long time. But I just want you to think about it. How come they changed the distance from the sun to the earth? If you're looking back in history, it was 43 million miles. Now it's 93 million miles. That's a big difference. You look at the North Star. It's in the same place every night. And if we're spinning around 1,000 miles an hour at the equator to make one revolution per day, we're going around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour, or 667,000 miles an hour. Yeah, we don't feel any of that. And they say it's because it's a constant speed. That may be. But when we went to the moon, I remember that. I was like 7 years old, 8 years old when they went to the moon. And they sped off into space. They went through the atmosphere. They got out into zero gravity. Well, at that point, they're in the scientists say it's a vacuum. In a vacuum, you have no thrustability. And then they would notice that the Earth was moving away from them at a high rate of speed. The moon would not be reachable if the moon was 250,000 miles away or whatever it is. Just want you to think. Maybe it is flat. And I admit, I never believe. You fall off the earth if it was flat. That don't make no sense. But if Antarctica isn't really Antarctica, if Antarctica was the wall around our known Earth, then any direction you go, you'd be going south from the North Pole. And you'd hit that wall anywhere. Why don't they let people fly over the South Pole? Be a lot shorter. Why do people in South America have to fly to Houston or Los Angeles or San Francisco to get to Australia? Wouldn't it be faster to go straight across? But I don't see flights going from South America to Australia. They have them. They say they exist. But I've never seen a plane in the air that's doing that flight. And I check my flight maps daily. There's never a plane that flies across the South Pacific because it's too far. And it's a straight line from South America to Australia if you go over the western part of the United States. I know, flat Earth. You can think I'm crazy. I just want you to think about it. God loves us, and He wants us to know the truth, but He also wants us to learn the truth. So do your diligence. If you want to throw this off as Mike's crazy, so he's been crazy. Well, yeah, I've probably always been a little crazy. But I want to trust God. And if He changes my mind, He'll change my mind. He'll tell me that the world is round. But I'd like to see some evidence that the earth is round. We've had satellites, we've had rockets in space, and we don't have one image of the earth from space that hasn't been photoshopped. NASA hasn't given us a picture from space. They spend how many millions and billions of dollars every day, but they can't show us a picture of the Earth from the sky? Something's wrong with that picture. But just think about it. And I'll talk to you later. It's really a cool morning this morning. There was frost on the windshield, frost on the roofs. I don't know how cold it got, but it wasn't hot here. No frost on the ground that I can tell. It's pretty damp, but not frozen. I don't know whether you can see that or not. I can't see what I'm aiming at. But anyway, have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.